Hello everyone, it's the Bitcoin SV bulldozer. So it's been a very long break. I felt like getting some ideas down about Bitcoin SV and just about things in general. So the topic of this video is Bitcoin SV a sleeping giant? So I'm going to look at two things. First of all, speculation, and then whether or not Bitcoin SV is the real deal, whether or not it can actually be something powerful in the future. Okay? So in the crypto space, as many people will know, it's all just speculation. It's all really effectively gambling. And if you're sitting on Bitcoin SV, you're watching the charts, you're going to CoinMarketCap every day, you are lost. You're lost in the addiction of gambling. But that's what the whole space is. It's a gambling addiction, I think. So in terms of speculation, we just look at Bitcoin SV in terms of its price. Now, I haven't really monitored the price particularly closely over the last several months. I'll check it from time to time, but I've got other things, I've got other focuses in my life at the moment, so it's sort of a non-event for me. But the price is definitely languishing. If you were just looking at the price alone, you'd say Bitcoin is dead. And that could actually really be the case. From a utilities perspective, I don't really see much happening. If you go to sv.coin.dance, the block sizes are not particularly large these days. But there is still some utility, which is good. There is still some sign of life. But it's looking pretty dour for Bitcoin. And I look at it as, is this the buying opportunity of a lifetime? I've been very, very tempted to buy. Not huge, but, a significant amount. But it is a risk. On the speculative front, though, how low can it go? And that's when you really want to consider buying, if you're into speculation. And none of this is financial advice, by the way. So I see the chance of a pump in the Bitcoin SV price being a possibility in the future. Anywhere from 5x to 50x. And the reason I say this, well, there are a few reasons. First of all, it is Bitcoin. But even if you're looking at it from the typical crypto landscape view of it being a scam, it's still got an association with Bitcoin. It's still got Bitcoin in the name. So there are a number of things that could cause a massive spike in price, a massive run, anything out of left field. One possibility is that BTC gets a hit, maybe not in terms of price. I do think that the bull market of 2025 is over, that 4-yearly thing. I think at a certain point, BTC is actually going to get massively hammered. They've come in and they've cashed in. They've done their 4-yearly cash in. They've made millions and millions. With the help of governments around the world, with the help of this whole idea of ETFs and the fleecing of the public. They do it every 4 years. But what I'm talking about is BTC in terms of its code getting hit. So I would suspect there are some vulnerabilities in the code. And It's just a matter of time before somebody exposes one of those vulnerabilities. I'm really talking about BTC at the moment, right? So if somebody does expose a vulnerability, and depending on how big that vulnerability is, we could see both BCH and BSV go for a massive run. I'm not really sure how the price movements would pan out here. Maybe all of the Bitcoins would get hit, including eCash. So another aside, from a marketing perspective, I think eCash has made a big mistake. I think it still needs to keep the name in there, but I don't really care about eCash. It's not Bitcoin. BSV is Bitcoin. So this vulnerability gets exposed and people suddenly go, oh, hang on, that's not Bitcoin. And they jump ship. Miners start jumping ship, whatever. And in my opinion, the run on the price wouldn't last for very long, but you could see orders of magnitude of an increase. So I'd probably give this scenario, not specifically the vulnerability in the code, but a pump of the BSV price. I'd give it, maybe a 20% chance. And I'm not saying that's anytime soon, but I've been in these situations before with other cryptocurrencies where it just languishes in the doldrums and everybody hates it. Like I had XRP, and it's just a matter of time, wait. And then things change. Suddenly perspectives change, and that can happen at any time. Anything out of left field can happen. So when XRP did its pump, I finally sold off the rest of my XRP. Yeah, I held some. I sold it off and I cashed in. So I could see that happening with BSV with maybe about a 20% probability. But when do you actually come in for that 5x, 10x, 50x gain? When do you come in? At what point in the pain factor of the price getting hit down lower and lower do you come in? I'll remind people about what I learnt in just investing, and I'll put it in quote marks, investing, because it's not, I don't care what market it is. Greed and fear drives the whole thing. And if you can just stay out of that frame, if you can stay out of the psychological manipulation of the markets and get on with your life, live in abundance, you'll be free of that. You'll be free of the drug, which are these markets, or just markets in general. It could be Dow Jones, it could be the gold and silver markets, by the way, cashed in there as well. And, the prices in the gold and silver markets have gone up beyond what I sold at. I've still got some, but I don't care. I made a profit. And despite all of that, I live from a place of abundance. So I don't really get sucked in by these psychological maneuvers anymore. Be happy with what you've got. So why am I producing this video? I guess there are times when I do things where the reason is not clear. Maybe I just need to do it to help somebody out in the real Bitcoin space. I don't know. But anyway, that's the speculative angle. The other angle is the sleeping giant one. Now, my videos have banged on and on about utility, doing something, bringing value to the space. So if you're waiting there holding a bag of BSV, worried about the price, thinking, oh, Terranode's going to send BSV skyward in terms of price, you're looking at it from the wrong way. If you're just sitting on a bag waiting for the price to go up, that's the wrong approach. It's about utility. This space is absolutely void of utility. This space, there's nothing getting done. It's all speculation, right? And you're just joining the hordes of people who are sitting on the sidelines waiting for a price pump so you can take somebody else's money, right? Now, I've produced probably, tens of videos in the crypto space, so I feel like I've brought value to the space. I would do more, but I'm not in a position to do that. And I've kind of moved on my mindset. I find the space pretty boring. The reason it's boring is because nothing's happening. Now, occasionally I'll get surprised by the amazing work that's being done behind the scenes in BSV, people working on the protocol, getting it ready for the real deal, right? And when I see these videos, I'm like, wow, the disconnect between the market and the capabilities of BSV. But it's still all hot air. There was this CoinKeep video, the blockchain summit. I think it's just the CoinGeek summit revisited or rebranded. And all the participants there, they're getting interviewed, they're all just talking in jargon. And I'm looking at it going, well, where's the substance? You're still not using blockchain. Blockchain goes mainstream. Yeah, right. There's no evidence of it going mainstream at all. It's all just speculation. Don't just talk the talk, walk the walk. Where is it? Who's using it? There is little bits of evidence of people using it, but it all just seems to be testing. What can we do? There's no real breakthrough. Maybe it's the killer app that needs to be written. Maybe it needs to be looked at from a different perspective. But utility is nowhere. And the thing is,